On this episode of the podcast, I interview the newly appointed ninth president of Bryant University, Dr. Ross Gittell. We talk about the newly introduced hybrid learning technology implemented on campus, the importance of COVID-19 testing to ensure campus safety, our common interest in Bruce Springsteen, the economics surrounding this pandemic and the effects it has in higher education, and much, much more. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I now welcome onto the podcast the newly appointed ninth president of Bryant University, Dr. Ross Gittell. Thank you very much for joining me.
A pleasure to join you, Cole, today.
So my first question is, I saw that you're a big Bruce Springsteen fan, and so am I. And being the GM of WJMF, we're big into music over here. So my first question is, what's your favorite album?
Well, I go back to Asbury Park, Greetings from Asbury Park, which is, I think it came out when I was a college student, if not a little before that. And you probably know more than I do, but it was his breakout record.
I love that one, Blinded by the Light there. I mean, he had a lot of good songs there. I think my personal favorite would be The River, but yeah, all those early albums I really do like, yeah.
Good. I'm glad you have knowledge about his first one. It dates you a little bit.
So do you have a favorite song from that album at all or no?
Oh boy, is there a song, Sandy, the waitress?
Yes, yeah.
That's the name of the song, but that always was that's a summer song too, kind of, because it is from Asbury Park, which I know Bruce grew up there, but it's a New Jersey kind of summer town in many respects.
Yeah, on the boardwalk there in Jersey, yeah. So we'll get into some more serious questions there, but yeah, I just found it really interesting, given that you got a little bit of background there in music and liking Bruce Springsteen, so similarities there. That's pretty cool. So my first question is, with your economics background, in 2008, we had the recession caused by a banking crisis. And in 2020, we have a recession caused by a global pandemic. Regarding enrollment, what similarities or differences can be drawn between the entering classes of 2012 and 2024?
Yeah. It's a really good question and a hard question. I'll have to admit that's a really hard question. The 2008, 2009 recession was, financial markets driven. There was, the rise in unemployment at the time, the decline in economic activity, and that had impact on higher education, particularly, private institutions like Bryant in higher education, where because of the decline in financial well-being of a lot of families, it impacted their ability to pay for private higher education. And similar things happened with the pandemic-induced, recession, a deep recession that we're in right now. Both had the character of, pretty sudden impacts from a period of strong, relatively strong economy to all of a sudden you had a big factor impacting a pretty steep decline. And in some respects, at least the timing of it was unexpected in 2009, and the deepness of it was unexpected. Here, it wasn't, an economic fundamentals like a financial markets induced recession, but external, public health related impact of the pandemic. And it really just virtually stopped the economy, unprecedented increases in unemployment that were, multiple times what was the increase in unemployment in 2000 and 2009. And then there's the uncertainty now, in 2008, 2009, it was that we'd work our way out of this, and it was kind of a normal economic cycle. This is not a normal economic cycle. This is, an external impact, and we're in unprecedented territory here on the economy, and that impacts higher ed and our enrollment. Also, this current condition right now is a lot of our ability to continue in near normal or anywhere near normal operations is based upon public health concerns. So we're able to continue the educational component for all our students. The question is, will that be done remotely or will that be done on campus?
And I know Bryant has implemented hybrid learning scenarios, and they've been very at the forefront in offering, I believe, COVID-19 testing is once every 7 days mandatory. And you've seen universities, especially around the New England area, popping up and been increasing doing that. I know Tufts University is doing 2 times a week, and so is Harvard's doing 2 times a week. From an essential standpoint, what is something that Bryant offers as it compares to ensuring public health and student safety that other universities cannot?
Yeah, just let me first speak to explicitly to testing. You're right. The asymptomatic, those without any symptoms related to the coronavirus, will be tested every 7 days. That's population testing to see the incidence of the coronavirus on campus and lead to decisions about what we should do. But also those who test positive will have to be quarantined, and then there'll have to be some tracing done to find out who they've been in contact with. In addition to that, and the turnaround on that will be within 24 hours. In addition, if there's any student, faculty, staff member who has symptoms, they'll get tested on campus, and the turnaround will be within close to an hour. So there'll be just a more immediate response to that. So that will help prevent contagion on campus, because with the full population testing, the every 7 days, that's going to take about 24-hour turnaround. So that's different. Also different is very different is, as you well know, and your other students know, Bryant is pretty unique. It's a rural campus. There's one main entrance that's a controlled entrance, and we're not part of a, very different than a BU or, a RISD where, it's open campus to the community and people go in and out in all different places. It's much more controlled, so we could control who comes in, who comes out. We can require people to come onto campus to do the health check app and to say that they're not expressing any symptoms. Also, over 3/4 of our students come from the 3 states of Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, all of which have done a very good job relative to other states of controlling the coronavirus. And those elements, kind of speak to some of our uniqueness with regards to be able to ensure the public health and safety of our community. And also, we moved up the semester a couple of weeks. So, and your finals and the full semester will be completed before Thanksgiving. So there won't be students going back and forth, and therefore, bringing in the coronavirus from elsewhere.
Who will be administering the COVID-19 tests?
Well, there'll be a team. There'll be actually a testing team and a leader of that team. It's, under the student affairs, because that's division and Dr. Amir, Inga Amir. But that will be a special team, a testing team, and you'll be notified. All students will be notified when their regular testing is, where to get tested, what they should do if they're expressing symptoms, where they should go for their testing. And it'll be relatively fast turnaround. There'll be scheduled testing, so it won't be waiting on long lines, etc. Because we've invested significantly in that capacity. And we've also invested significantly in communication. So, we're trying to make even now a lot of information available. It seems like from your questions, you're already pretty well informed of what's going on. That's positive. That's good.
And I think it's first and foremost crowd control on campus. I mean, there's so many students that go there, and particularly small environment, and incorporating hybrid learning environments and doing testing, I think that will go a long way in ensuring student safety. And from a student perspective, I view that as a wonderful opportunity, because before I learned that information, me personally, I was on the fence about coming back onto campus and just learning remotely and continuing that. But once you have that reassurance that you will be having testing and that there will be a hybrid learning opportunity, so maybe the class size can be reduced. I think.
Yeah, no, the maximum class size is going to be 18. There's going to be 6 feet and more distancing between students. All students, faculty, and staff, when they are, around others, will be masked. We've done things to reconfigure the classrooms, and then we do have the technology in place that students could, have the class option of being in class or remote interactive, or there'll be lecture capture. So there'd be asynchronous capture that the students could access it through their campus platform.
So continuing on the hybrid learning environment, I know that took a large capital investment from Bryant. I was doing some research here, and Father Shanley, he was the former president of Providence College, said during the 2008 financial crisis, he viewed it as an opportunity to acquire talent and pump more money into the university. Do you have similar thoughts during this recession of acquiring talent and seeing where where other universities may be letting off professors or letting off certain talent, where you could see your Bryant kind of capitalizing on that
I
opportunity?
just joined on July 1st, Bryant University, and I've been in the New England region for over 3 decades, so I always was familiar with Bryant and its strengths. But now that I've come to campus and meet with people, there's a lot of talent on this university.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of what we're doing is investing in the talent through investments in technology, academic technology specifically in this case, which will help us through this pandemic situation with the kind of hyperflex delivery of our academic programming. But in the future, it'll enable more flexible access for students to our instructions and our educational programs. So, for example, Cole, if I believe you're in Nantucket now, let's say you were in Nantucket and you wanted to take courses while you were in Nantucket, or you want to take, for whatever reason, you had to miss a class in Nantucket, well, you could actually take the class remotely and interact through like a Zoom-like platform and feel like you really weren't losing or suffering from that. And that platform will make it so when students could maybe complete their bachelor's education in 3 years, because their summers, even if they're internationally located, they'll still be able to take courses. Or they could take courses such that in 4 years they end with a master's from Bryant. So it really provides some flexibility. You could be doing an internship in New York City and while a student, not this summer, but another summer, and still take classes at the same time or a semester. So we give a lot of flexibility. Just
now,
those are some examples.
You cited that you have a long relationship with teaching education, obviously over 30 years. Do you view that as the largest or the biggest change to how things are taught now, and everything is kind of being forced to go online, and kind of the hardships and also the positives that come with it?
Well, I think your generation is more of a technology agile population, and actually embrace being able to do things with technology that people in my generation probably never even could dream of. And you're open-minded about it. You're willing to experiment with it. You use it as a resource and benefit from it. So I think there's a real opportunity with your generation to sort of bring education and pedagogy to where you are and your needs, as opposed to where we've been as a higher education for the last 100 years, with the kind of lecture format. Come in and we'll convey some knowledge to you, and you come in the classroom and then you leave the classroom. I think it's really been an exciting opportunity to think of new ways to deliver education and to do it using technology that's really being embraced by this next generation.
Yeah, and that's very true. Bryant preaches innovation, and I think this is the key opportunity to kind of maybe not reinvent the wheel, but upgrade the wheel and kind of
right.
and provide the same level of higher education through multiple mediums that can ensure students still get the same education. And I view that as a very important point, and I view that as a good point as a Bryant student and as a worthy investment going forward. Taking on the role of university president is no easy task. And given COVID-19, the challenges of the position are increased tenfold. Going into this fall semester, what do you think your biggest challenge will be?
Well, it's our top priority is the health and safety of our students, our faculty and our staff. And that's really a priority. That's why, we spent so much time in this short conversation about testing and social distancing and masking protocols, because that's the priorities. People's health and safety are number one. And then two, given, that, how do we ensure the maintenance of our really high quality education here through the academic deployment of academic technology and other teaching methods to maintain the integrity and quality of our educational experience? And then, how to maintain and retain qualities of our residential life experience. Because that's a big part of the Bryant experience, of higher educational experience, is the relationships you build with faculty, with staff, with fellow students, because that gets carried on for your lifetime. So we don't want students to lose that, connectivity, that relationship building, that campus experience. So as much as possible within the context of ensuring public health and safety. How do we achieve those ends? And that's real challenges. And at the same time, since this is my first year as president of Bryant University, how do I get to know people and develop my own relationships and, have people think of me beyond just the COVID president? Because, I intend to accomplish, work with others on a long-term basis here. So I want to, lay the foundation for that, even though I'm going to have to stay focused on those, the safety and health and the continuation of our high quality education programs. Right.
Prior to coming on campus, I know in the previous question you mentioned relationships. Did you have a relationship with Ronald Makeley and Katie Makeley, and how did they pass on any information that you found?
President Makeley and Katie were just very generous with their time and their information with me and my wife, Jody, and that's been wonderful. And it was, difficult times of transition for them with the pandemic and missing out on the commencement, which, is obviously really important to everybody, particularly to the president. That's a big moment for any president. And then, others have been very good in the transition. And I did have, contact, albeit limited, with President Makeley while I was in higher education leadership in New Hampshire, and had some contact with him, but not as much as, when I was named Bryant University president. He was very generous and extremely helpful in the transition.
Moving forward here, Bryant is predominantly a business school, and throughout all of our classes of management, accounting, marketing, and even non-business oriented classes like communications, and I guess you could link economics towards that too. It's very goal orientated, and there's short-term and long-term goals. Do you have any short-term and long-term goals as you come into presidency here?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is always going to be to build on the strong foundation that is already here at Bryant University, to continue to ensure that our graduates are successful. The focus on students is key. The educational experience that students receive, the quality of that, and then the professional education and training they get to be successful economically, but also and in their professional lives, but also as citizens and as good family members, and that character coming out of Bryant with being people who really contribute to a better world. And we have that opportunity here, particularly in our current context. Types of things we do, how we work with students, what students get out of this year, which is going to be a challenging year, is going to really, try to help you be more successful in the future and be more resilient. Because, if you make it through this successfully, which you are going to, you're going to have, a lot of gumption and a lot of resilience that's going to serve you well in future endeavors. So as hard as it is now, working together, and being successful this year is going to be real positive, and that's what we're aiming for. So, that's kind of a short-term, but also long-term objective, because we're always going to be focused on that students come to Bryant and that we assure that they're successful professionally and personally. And do that in a way that's distinctive, in the sense that we're really just outstanding in the success of our graduates.
Yeah, that's very important in student success. I believe if your goals are orientated towards that, nothing but good things will come out of that. As you provide a new set of eyes on campus, are there any buildings or facilities you're looking to better utilize?
There's, the facilities here are very impressive. The Academic Innovation Center. I hope to utilize, that with the classroom and the innovation in the classroom, the pedagogy, the use of technology. All the infrastructure is there, and I hope to use it effectively. So that's a significant and important and a productive investment. Same thing, the library is outstanding library. Thinking back to my student days, I love the library. I still love the library. I would like to spend more time than I'll be able to in the library. And I know students take good advantage of it. The athletic facilities, the same. I will be, I like to work out. I'm sure I'll see students in the athletic facilities properly masked and socially distanced.
Yes.
This year. But, that's part of, mind, body, spirit. The Interfaith Center is a wonderful facility. So, I think we want to, take advantage of the facilities, the infrastructure we have here, build those relationships, and then really understand from the students, the people who are here, where the next, a significant investment should be to enhance the student experience here. I think we're going to see a continual investment in technology related to the academic instruction. And what I talked about before is to like go to where the students are as far as how they want to learn, how they want to engage, and where the future economy is going. I mean, I did come from you know, kind of the northern part of this region. You know, hockey's a pretty big sport here, you know, but it's even bigger up in New Hampshire. You know, one of my thinking philosophy is from Wayne Gretzky, you know, the great hockey player, is you don't want to skate to where the puck is, you want to skate to where the puck is going to be, and that's the key to success. So we want our students to be like skating, educating, and training towards where that you know, professional need is, where the economic opportunity is, where that puck's going to be. And we want to be focused on that and having the investment in the people, the technology that help us achieve that, to make sure students are successful back. You know, just as we talked about earlier, the key is that success of our graduates.
As we wrap up the interview here, my last question is going to be, as president for the first semester here, what are you looking forward to the most this fall semester?
Yeah, great question. I'm looking forward to meeting people, you know, meeting students when they arrive, learning from students about their experience here, how we can improve. I've already had the chance to meet, you know, some faculty and staff, and I want to meet more faculty and staff. You know, outstanding talent, commitment at this institution. And you know, later this afternoon, I have a Zoom meeting with alumni. Because alumni, including recent alumni, are really important to gain some insights into the institution and where we want to go over the next decade or so, what we should focus on. So, you know, meeting people, relationship building, and really, you know, continuing to build on that strong foundation that's already here.
All right. Well, thank you very much. On behalf of all the students here at Bryant, we're really excited to have you here on campus, being the new president, the 9th president of Bryant University. And I think this is certainly challenging times to come into and take a position as prominent as the president of the university. And we have all the confidence in the world that you'll do a great job, President Gittell. Thank you very much for doing this interview.
Thank you for this opportunity, Colin. I look forward to meeting you when you come to campus.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.